God, Matt, you're waking up.
What happened?
Well, we watched a movie today.
We did?
Yeah, we did.
What movie?
Sex Galaxy.
I don't remember it.
It's not a very, impressive film.
But I have no recollection of it.
It's really not an impressive film.
What kind of film was it?
It's what's called a green film.
But What's Up Tiger Lily's a green film, and that was by Woody Allen. That was funny.
Matt, this isn't What's Up Tiger Lily. This is something worse. Something much worse.
Yeah.
Really.
We got nothing.
We have nothing on this movie.
It's amazing how, like, when was the last time we've actually been literally dumbfounded by a film that we literally have no material? I mean,
I know we had one.
We've done a couple.
But I can't. That's just it. They don't stick in your mind.
Yeah, to be honest, actually, maybe In Search of Lovecraft actually
that was
one.
It, probably.
Probably, like, this movie. All right. I actually, and I advocate What's Up Tiger Lily as a really interesting movie.
Explain what green movie is.
All right, green movies are films that are entirely stock footage that people take, re-edit, or you don't even have to re-edit it. They just redub the entire film.
Exactly.
And this is a mishmash of different films, even though it's primarily from one. I don't know exactly what film it is. It doesn't show. It just showed exactly. It got it from like archive.org or something like that. I did recognize some of the clips in there from being a propaganda video from the 60s called Marijuana with an H. But
All right. Let me give you the basic rundown here, okay?
We lost interest after the first 10 minutes because that's when it's like then it just like it slowed down to a crawl.
Once it got to that point,
once it got to the shit jokes, then we're just
okay. So
checked out.
I only need like 10 seconds to describe this plot. All right, it is men searching for sex
in space.
That's essentially it. But let's give it a larger one. All right, so there is this crew of a rocket ship. This is set in the near future, 100 years from now.
Don't forget, they're plumbers, by the way.
Okay,
and also they have this wealthy tycoon that's paid like billions of dollars to go on a trip.
Right. So there's 100 years from now, sex is outlawed. And that means like everything.
Water's gone.
Porn, oral, everything. Gone. It's also a dystopian future where it's like super overpopulated, and that's why sex is outlawed. So then these people are going up in the station to repair the space station that's filled up with shit. That's where all the shit jokes come from. And then they hear this planet full of insatiable, lustful women who only exist to serve the man. And it's like, well, shit, let's go to that planet. And they go to the planet. And they don't get laid because, fuck. And yeah, that's the whole. There's a side plot about a robot and
a robot pimp, mind you, named Ron.
I'm done.
If it was Ron Burgundy, that would be hysterical.
It would be.
And the thing is, at the end, I don't know if this is legitimate or not. If it is, this is ridiculous. If it's not, then it's a successful troll.
It's a very because we were the final thing after the movie. The first credit that popped up was funded by some evangelical church.
It was an evangelical church in Mojave, California.
We sat there and
the producer was this reverend. I'm like, okay, if this is true, this is the weirdest thing because they end the entire thing as a thing of like, you know, the monogamy of a relationship between a man and a woman will overcome all.
The sanctity of marriage is truly the strongest bond in the natural known universe. Sponsored by a church.
Okay, and And I want to say another thing. All three of the main characters try to go out and get laid, where only one of them actively tries to do it and then says no because love doesn't exist to these people.
On this planet, like we said, they exist only
Half the friends that I have would just drop everything at an instant to have a chance like this.
The planet that they go to, the woman exists solely to certain men. Now, we're not going to get in on, like, the misogynistic crap.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, actually, this is not nearly the most misogynistic thing I've ever seen. Have you seen it in the room?
So, when they get to the planet, since they're so ingrained in the physical, they never learned about love. They're just there to please each other. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter, love. And then
it's like I'm a sponge with an X cut into it. That's what they said.
So then the young idealistic guy who's about to get laid, he's like, love? Well, love is like running through a meadow.
Fluttering of your heart when you're listening to her talk about her problems or something like that.
Like,
I mean, it's really misogynistic shit.
Well, not the guy. The guy's talking about love.
But the thing is, at the same time, the way that he describes it, I'm like, really? This is your idea of love? Now, I get...
It's all 50s.
Yeah.
60s stuff.
And I get that. I really do. Especially... Okay, and also, I forgot to say, alright, when it comes down to the stock footage used, there's actually this section where they just go through... We saw a lot of diseased dicks.
A lot of diseased dicks. Okay.
Right after a whole bunch of videos of girls doing strip teases, now there is an abundance of tits at a couple parts in the movie.
What happened was...
The sleaze in me is satisfied to that degree.
Right. Porn is illegal. We covered that.
Yeah.
So when
Which
they
doesn't make sense. Because spanking it is obviously not illegal.
I'm not even going to try to get into there. They don't explain it. They just like, yeah, everything's illegal.
Also, they also don't explain the fact that after they get back, they end up fucking. So did the law change or something like that?
They didn't explain it fully.
I think we're taking this too serious, but still.
What happened was... porn is illegal, and they ended up watching some on their rocket up to the space station.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. And then apparently, like, Mission Control saw it, and then this one guy's like, they can be arrested for that, but let's teach them a lesson. So then they brought up this old Army sex hygiene.
And the old Army sex hygiene thing was not overdubbed. That was exactly real. So it was somebody talking about how, like, fucking syphilis and shit works.
And they were, like, showing diagrams and stuff like that, and we're like, oh, God.
Milk the penis.
and then they started showing video of a dick with syphilis, and we're like, why? We were so ingrained a couple minutes ago when you were showing porn, but now it's just...
I mean, obviously that was the point for the entirety in that section of the movie, but at the same time, though, it's just silly. And also, I loved how the crew members were looking like even more intensely at the diseased pricks than anything that was shown beforehand.
Yeah, when the porn was being shown, they were like, nice.
Wow, I mean, the overdubbing was much more enthusiastic than the stock footage. But then again, you can only do so much with stock footage.
But then when the dicks came on, they were like, "This is fucking hot."
Yeah. I mean, and as I said, like, there's only so much you can do with stock footage. But at the same time, it's been really weird stock footage choices sometimes, and the whole thing obviously is played up for comedy, even though the comedy is really the lowest common denominator. It's shit jokes, it's piss, fart jokes.
Sex. There you go.
A lot of sex jokes. But it's not even smart. I mean, like, because there's actually some, like, if you go back to What's Up Tiger Lily, I don't think you've seen that. It was Woody Allen's first official movie, even though all he did was redub the thing. But, like, his comedic writing comes through as really it comes through as effective. And there are jokes in that involving sex and whatnot that are legitimately funny. This is just tiresome after a while. Yeah. All the jokes ran its course after the first 20 minutes.
All right, well, let me, like we said, the shit jokes when they were on the space station, it's just constant shit jokes. Like, they were talking about how, like, what was it? Oh, God, there was one in particular. Like, they were going through space, and they were, like, shit flying everywhere. They were like, don't let one of those things hit you in the visor.
It's like shit at that density will just break right through your helmet or something like that.
And then they made some stupid little pun afterwards, and it was so forgettable.
Oh, that was got a peanut in it.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't care that much for
that.
that.
No. That was things like, well, that'd be the definition of getting shit-faced or something like that.
That was the line. So then, there was a whole other subplot, like we said, with Ron the robot.
Ron the pimp robot.
He took care of all the women on this planet. He's like, I made them human by being their pimp.
Yo, where's my money?
Where's my money? That guy tried to get a freebie last time.
Well, I want to know one thing. What would he do with money on this planet
He's on
in the first
planet
place?
With only the women and their illegitimate children, and that's...
Yeah, and also, the fact that he would be giving Earth money, what exactly is he going to do? Trade?
But
Trade
again, we're
what?
thinking too hard about this.
Yeah, we are.
I'm more concerned about how his humor came across. We didn't like it.
We found him really fucking annoying.
We were just sitting there waiting for his parts to be done, because it was two concurrent plot lines. There was the one about the guys trying to get laid, and then there were these guys trying to take out the robot, essentially.
There's one funny joke that they had with him when they were crossing over a giant fallen log. He's like, we must wait. Let's just stop talking until we cross this giant fucking log or something like that. He's like, don't look down. Shut the fuck up.
That was really where the most comedy came in, where it was just sort of a subversion. Some guy said something, and then the other guy's just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And actually, because it was because it was going through our minds, too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we were late, finally. Alright, we can't really talk about the...
Yeah, visuals and directing, we can't do that.
You can say, the directing was entirely all in the editing.
Yeah.
The editing, one, was a fuckload of repetition. Same shots used over and over again.
Which needs to happen.
Yeah, is exactly it. But at the same time, though, unlike a bunch of green films that I have seen before, where they literally just redubbed the entire thing and the whole movie is played out the same way, this one was definitely re-edited. Heavily.
I thought it was a really bad film when it was first made.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what the film would be like if it was that way normally. But, it was heavily re-edited, and the repetition got really annoying after a while, especially when the same tit shot was used every other shot.
It was like, open, bounce, 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 bounce,
close.
Now imagine that 5,000 times.
And it's all right in the same order, too. I'm like, same pair of tits. Same pair of tits.
Alright, now I'm going to go off on a tangent here because Matt doesn't think so. I do. There is one part when he's going to get laid.
Oh, yeah.
Billy, main character, idealistic young lad, is going out to get laid.
He's laying down with her, about to penetrate.
But here's the thing. The ladies and the spacemen came from two totally different movies. You could tell it just by their style. So what I was curious about is, how did they get these two together in the scene? And the only way that I knew how is that it was filmed recently. It wasn't one of these 50s, 60s stock films. It was, made for this movie. Matt says there may be some catering porno service who made some fetish that they happened to stumble across.
I'll talk about that in a sec, though.
But I think that they broke the green film bond and shot original footage. I could be wrong, but then again, we have no way of knowing because everyone's only credited for voices. There's no people in bodies being credited.
See, the one thought that I have when it came down to this, because obviously when the astronaut and the nympho native are getting down to things on the beach. One, the astronaut's outfit completely changes from how it was in the old footage, so I don't doubt that it's from something completely different.
Oh, I know it's from something.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. But the thing is, though, considering the most ridiculous amounts of shit, all the porn that I've seen from the 60s and 70s, there is no doubt in my mind that they found some porno that has an astronaut fucking some babe on a beach somewhere.
But it was the fact they look so similar and yet so different at the same time.
To be honest, actually, I don't know. We really don't know. It's all speculation at this point because the credits don't tell. It was the credits don't tell us whether this is the truth or not.
And we don't know what the credits are trolling us either because we're pretty sure that evangelical church thing may or may not have been a troll.
I don't know. We've looked on the IMDb for this. This has a bunch of ratings from critics on there. It has ratings on Netflix and stuff like that. This is more watched than our previous film.
Yeah.
So I was like,
George Biddle. All right. Now the obvious comparison that we have to make here is to MST3K. Or Mystery Science Theater 3000, to those of you who have missed such comedy as that show.
I mean, and also a lot of the Netflix member reviews reference the fact that this is kind of like MST3K meets What's Up Tiger Lily.
At least the people who thought it was an okay film. We don't think so as much. But that's because it just doesn't match the humor that MST3K has.
I love MST3K. Yeah. I think they're hysterical.
The way I think that it works is, it's the same reason that What's Up Tiger Lily works. I haven't seen it, so I'm just guessing here. But like we said, it's dubbing over a movie without changing the movie's editing.
It's not even it's riffing a film.
It's riffing a film. While even the original audio is going for MST3K, they're putting in their jokes in there, basically playing off of what the characters say. It's like the characters are becoming part of the joke as well.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is...
It just re-edited.
So completely re-edited.
The characters don't matter at all. The plot of the original movie doesn't matter at all. Nothing matters at all, except that they're trying to base the story around this stock footage.
I mean, and to be honest, it can work. I mean, at certain points, like, was there a completely coherent story? Yes. There was.
Except for that second plot. I still don't know what went on there.
No. But, and that's the funny thing is, but the thing is, though, the one thing, the women and the men, I don't know, maybe they were in the same movie together because, remember, at the end, they pulled the robot out of the fucking water after it gotten burned.
Yes, but that's just it. They were pulling it out of the water, and it looked like it was water damage. Like it was rusted up. That's what it looked like.
It was black, though. I mean, like it was burnt up.
Again, speculation.
I don't know. We don't know.
Speculation.
But as of right this point, it's just a really stupid overdubbing of a movie. Does it appeal to some people? I have no doubt. We got a couple chuckles out of it and whatnot. Did it get more laughs than I keep forgetting the name of the fucking movie.
George Biddle?
George Biddle. Did it get more laughs than George Biddle? Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, definitely.
Yeah, it was definitely more humorous than George Biddle.
It's more accessible.
Yes, that's the
It's more accessible than tax law. And God, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to really say. What else about the film?
I guess what we could really
the voice acting was
the actual voice actors.
It was very flaccid.
It was flaccid, but it did what it needed to do.
It was. It accomplished exactly what their goal was setting out to be, was to comedically redub a movie.
Right. What we figured out was that this had potential. It had a lot of potential in just the way that it was made, in the way of just overdubbing and re-editing stock footage, and making it a comedy. It had potential, but what it needed was people with comedic timing reading the lines, people with comedic timing editing the movie, and people with just a general comedy sense writing it. Now, I think the last one partially was there. They knew jokes, but it was in the delivery and the editing that it just lost something along the way.
It was very poor timing, and I keep going back to Woody Allen with What's Up Tiger Lily because that's the best example in my mind. Woody Allen is unbelievably funny when especially in his earlier work and whatnot, when all of his ideas were really, really fresh and all that stuff. And he was just onto the scene. It was really hysterical because of, he knew comedic timing. He knew how to direct comedy. This one, and I completely agree with you that if they had comedians doing the lines and also a comedian really knowing how to do the editing, this movie could have been really funny.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like a bro.
Yeah.
This movie was done by a total bro.
I mean, the production company is Stag Films.
And and if you know your terminology there, a fucking stag film.
Google it. Actually, over 18.
Just look up the movie The Italian Stallion with Sylvester Stallone.
Don't do that.
That is the epitome of a stag film.
Don't do that. Okay.
It's just a bunch of random sex sequences strung loosely together. There's another type of stag film is actually like Andreas Schnaas' Final Shit movies. They're a stag reel of death sequences. It's just loose shit tied together. That's basically it's just
It's what this movie is.
And there's really not much else to say about it because, you know, you can't really speak about the production values and stuff like that because it's a completely different movie.
Yeah, okay, so we've basically gone over the fact that re-editing, I guess, let's see, we did acting, we did editing, which is basically all we could do.
I mean, it's acting, editing, and audio direction. I mean, that's really how it is.
That was all fine.
There was a shit ton of ridiculous music used.
Oh my god.
And some of the stock footage was ridiculous, especially toward the end. I saw civil rights stock footage from, like, the I Am a Man marches from the 1960s.
Okay, so they did this whole thing about, like, what happened afterwards.
That was the funniest part.
It was the funniest part. They were saying, let me see how much I can remember this. Alright, so the little illegitimate children that they got from the planet, when they headed back to Earth, they brought in the illegitimate children. Ironically, the only work that they could get was as slaves in the Philippines. Eventually, they rose up to take power in their own country, leading to a civil war that led to the entire end of the world. And they just showed a nuclear bomb going off when that happened. It's like,
he's like, but that's another story.
That's another story altogether. In the meantime, I got married to my wife.
And
no, go back to that last
one. Made passionate love. Whoa, 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 whoa! You cannot say an end of the world scenario and not elaborate on this shit.
That's what the comedic timing needed. It just needed to know.
It's like, fuck the rest of the story. I want to know about that. I want to hear that story. Even if it's not funny, I want to hear it.
It's like subverting your expectations. You expected to hear about the end of the world scenario, but they subverted your expectations.
They denied us this. They denied us our rightful end.
We flat out laughed at that.
We did. I mean, that was actually the funniest joke they had in the whole damn movie.
Alright, so
I could tell from the very beginning when they're using the narration, I'm like,
oh yeah,
this is going to be a long sit. Yeah. I was grateful, though, how the entire movie was not overlaid with all narration, though.
Yeah.
That would have been really fucking stupid. That would have been like the remake of The Great Gatsby by Baz Luhrmann. But I'm not going to get into that piece of shit.
I still haven't seen it, and I kind of wanted to before that comment.
The whole movie is ADR'd, and the voice and the lip syncing is absolutely the worst thing I've seen in movies in the last 10 years. And that's...
There you go.
Saying a lot.
Short ShitFlix review.
Just look at my review here.
Alright, so... Would you recommend? Would you recommend?
Would I recommend this? To be honest, actually, it's not a painful sit. It can be at points and whatnot. It can be irritating, but it's not real. It's not a struggle to get through.
I think it depends on your humor taste. If you don't like the shit jokes and the piss jokes and sex jokes, this is not going to appeal to you.
This is going to be a 0 out of 10 review for you. If you are very easily amused by that type of thing, if you like bro humor, you're gonna enjoy this movie to a degree. Is it the best Green film I've seen? No. But is it the worst? Definitely not. I've seen a lot worse than this.
As for me, I'm gonna actually subvert here. I'm not gonna recommend. I usually do for some reason, but this one, I mean, the only way I'd recommend it is if you want to see how not to do this sort of film, but only if you're going to follow up immediately before or after with What's Up, Tiger Lily.
Yeah.
Because you got to see doing it right or doing it wrong. Or just marathon MST3K. Like, watch like 4 episodes of that and you're going to get comedic timing down to a fucking T.
I mean, like, if you really think about, like, all the major internet critics that we watch and whatnot, like the Nostalgia Critic, the Cinema Snob and whatnot, all of them, at least that from what I remember hearing, all of them all claim influence from MST3K. And that's for a good reason. They know how to riff. They have a lot of great timing. Riff Tracks took a lot of... It's the exact same thing in principle and all that jazz. So, like, it's the exact... It makes sense, and these guys know how to riff a film. But when you're not making fun of the movie, you're trying to do your own spin on the footage that's already there.
And that's an original story that you actually have to make funny yourself.
Yeah, that takes a lot of work, especially if you have to put a story to already existing images. It might seem easier than, you know, coming up from something completely from scratch, but sometimes I would think that it's harder. And to a degree, to respect the people who try to make this, comedic writing is hard. It's very hard. I think the two hardest genres to be able to pull off effectively is comedy and horror.
I think horror's pretty easy. I mean, good horror?
Yeah.
But that's hard. But I mean, just horror as a whole, summer blockbuster horror, that's easy as fuck.
Well, it's popcorn flicks and whatnot. But, like, when it comes down to really good writing and even overdubbing and whatnot, tension and all that kind of stuff, comedy and horror, because it's all about the timing.
Yes.
And
I mean, if you weren't worried about timing, like, we could do that.
we could... Here! David, I just think that you're being a little too immature about that.
I don't want to hear about this.
I mean, she did come to me about 3 weeks ago, and, you know,
Matt,
she was a little frustrated, and all I did really was facilitate a need, and that need just kept going.
Matt, I don't want to hear about this, all right? I don't care that you're banging my ex-girlfriend. I just... Look, I cared for her. I really, really, really loved her, and if I can't have her, then you can't either.
Wait, no, David!